Welcome back to the Diamond Breakfast. Now, in Mfumbwe District and other reported areas, mobile money operators are reporting significant financial losses due to frequent network interruptions caused by load shedding. Now, these disruptions are resulting in an estimated monthly commission loss of 4,500 kwacha for operations, highlighting the severe impact of power outages on their business operations. Now, the situation underscores the urgent need for solutions to stabilize network connectivity and, of course, mitigate the adverse effects of load shedding on essential financial services. This morning, we are joined by the Mobile Money Association president in Pamfred Hasweeka. Good morning, Mr. Hasweeka.
Morning.
Nice that you're here with us, today to look into this matter. And I can only wonder how it's been, during this load shedding time. If you could just, share with us what it's been like in terms of experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've noticed a pattern that ever since the load shedding started, there is also this subsequent interruptions in terms of network.
Right.
Yeah, so at first, probably we thought it could be something that could be unassociated, random, because if you remember, even I think some time way back, we could every now and then I experience interruptions. But I think it is now clear, especially that even the regulator did issue, I think, some notice around the relationship, interruptions and network connectivity. So, of course, in terms of business-wise, like you have indicated, we have a challenge. Because the challenge is of course multifaceted. When we go home as mobile money business agents, we would love to of course charge our phones. One, we would love to see that network quality remains high, because what we benefit from is the fact that if network is there, consumers are able to transact, and we're able to facilitate those transactions and make a commission. That's how we live. These are the livelihoods that are really feeding a lot of families. But if you see currently these network interruptions, of course, what it entails now is that we are now unable to facilitate as many monthly transactions as we are able to facilitate. Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's the disturbance we are facing. So, of course, you have a situation where, consumers can't access their funds through mobile money. That means they can't now leverage the agent to, transact. Then, two, you also have a challenge in terms of I go home, I would love to make sure that my gadgets are well charged and prepared, but there's no power. So, at the end of the day, you find that when it's morning, still I'm unable to do that. So automatically what that means now is I'm also reducing the amount of time I can spend in terms of, business operations.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Now, let's also just bring the, conversation to Mfumbwe district, where you also have members, these mobile money operators. What also have been some, we get it that, they're complaining that there's loss of revenue, and I'm sure this is across across the country, but what other complaints do they have outside their loss of revenue, and of course how load shedding is affecting them? But I also want to get if there are challenges in terms of these mobile telecom companies giving solutions to these problems.
Yeah, so the challenge, unfortunately, I think this challenge of network interruption currently is the biggest. Because what we've noted is, of course, we had sporadic network interruptions in the past, but what we are now seeing, these are becoming more and more frequent. Of course, through our engagements, because we are now collaborating with ZICTA, the telcos, we have a consumer security and safety technical working group where we are able to, use this platform and highlight some of these challenges. Of course, initially, the reasons that were given were, technical issues here and there. But of course,
so they were not coming out to say, look, it's because of load shedding that this is the problem in the beginning.
In the beginning, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
So now we are wondering whether the aspect of load shedding has just exacerbated the situation. Yeah, because already we could see some technical issues. You've seen, huh? And in terms of resolving these issues, I think we believe, we are not sure if the network operators are doing a lot. Because initially what we could see, it was more of one network operator compared to others initially. You find that it was more of one, I wouldn't love to mention.
Please don't.
Yes, more of one network operator when we compare to others. So you find that even the complaints that were coming in from our members really targeted one as opposed to others. But now what we are seeing with the coming of load shedding, I think we are now able to see that several are being affected. So now the challenge we have is, despite making these appeals, I think not much has been done. Of course, ZICTA did initiate, I think, a program where they were kind of collecting information on network quality. You find that you could have been one of those who could have received a message in terms of network surveys, because they have initiated this program so that they are able to get feedback from consumers as well. So now the problem with this approach is that, it is not something that is legally binding. So even if consumers complain in terms of quality, I think the regulator isn't able to do much. And this is why we are even happy that next week, Tuesday, we've been invited to attend a consumer protection dialogue forum, which ZICTA has come up with. So one of the key sessions that will focus on network quality. Like, how is network quality impacting, of course, digital financial services? Because there is a correlation here. Because if I'm a consumer, I put money in mobile money, I lock it up, and because of network issues, I'm unable to access those funds when I have an emergency. Look at now what will be the implication, you see. So already what we are already seeing is consumers are beginning to lose confidence. In as much as we are pushing for expansion of financial inclusion, we also need to see that other aspects such as security, quality are also moving in tandem with what we are preaching.
Mr. Hasweeka, but looking at ZICTA, do you think they truly have, you as mobile operators' interests at heart, and based on how they tackle the complaints that you bring forward, your concerns, do you think they are truly a listening institution?
So what we actually noticed initially was that as of mobile money, operators on the aspect of providing supportive financial services, initially we were kind of left behind, and this is why the association became very critical, because you find that complaints were being lodged with the regulator, with the telcos, but not much was happening. But now that they gave us, a table on the seat, like we are able now to sit, engage, and raise these issues, we are seeing a strategic shift in as far as, attention to agencies concerned. Because currently now we are even collaborating in terms of rolling out trainings for agents. Just today, we have our members who are participating in Matero, where we are training agents along with ZICTA, FIC, and all that. So initially, because we know we've advocated for a place, a seat on the table, we are now seeing that ZICTA is also now paying attention to, the input we are bringing. Because I think that was a critical part. We are consumer facing, okay? And we are a good source of information, and we can act as a proxy for consumers. You see, we are interacting with them. We know the complaints. And this, we can bring to the regulator. So now what we are seeing is at least we can confidently say ZICTA is slowly now beginning to, consider our input.
Right.
Yeah, in as far as our provision of digital financial services is concerned.
Right. Let's talk more also on this 4,500 commission that you I guess entitled to, but also again seeing that there's loss due to these interruptions that we're seeing. Is there any renegotiation, on this commission? What are the telecoms companies saying, where this commission is concerned?
Yeah, so unfortunately, for the telcos, it's business as usual. Because you see, at the end of the day, there are no, measures in place to kind of compensate for the loss. Because if you look at the business model, basically we make money from facilitating transactions. So if we are unable to facilitate those transactions, really the telcos cannot step in. Unfortunately, agents are the ones who are bearing the cost. If you look at most of even operational challenges we faced in the past, where we had cancel, come in, disrupt operations, I can confidently tell you that not even a single day did the telco move in to kind of, compensate or help. Because currently, you see the way the working arrangement is, we are more or less working as a separate entity. And this is why when we notice that the interests of agents are really not being looked after, we really needed to move into the space, mobilize and organize the agent community. Because you find that in as much as we are driving business for the telcos, the interest or investment in supporting agents has literally been none. Whether you look at security, you remember the challenges we faced.
Yes, we saw abductions.
Where we are coming from.
Yes, we were here, we were talking about
exactly.
stuff like that. Yeah.
But with all those challenges, you would notice that I think the media, the Fourth Estate, has really done a good job in as far as putting some of this information out there. But I don't remember a time a telco came to you or gave information that this is what they are doing to mitigate some of these issues. So this is where the challenge we have. This is what the challenge is out there. And of course, we have tried to engage the telcos. We'll continue because we've always advocated for the fact that we really need to invest in the agent community, whether it has to do with business support, operational support, because at the end of the day, we are using our own capital, to drive, mobile money services, whether it's agency banking or mobile money. So at the end of the day, they are coming with the infrastructure. We are also coming with the human resource and capital.
Right. Yeah.
So there is need for that proper collaboration. This is why we've been appealing. We've organized a number of meetings. We've really put the word out there, but unfortunately, there is less and less investment in as far as supporting the agent community is concerned. Yeah.
Now, also just looking at, what's happening now, has there been an engagement, between you as mobile money agents, as the association, and of course these telecom companies? Have you had a sit down even to say, look, what is the solution now? People are trying to tap into solar and things like that. Have they been able to engage you on that level? And also, are they speaking into solutions?
Yeah, so initially when we tried to engage the telcos, we noticed that much of our complaints were falling on deaf ears. So we really needed to change our strategy. So now what we've done is leveraging, the platforms that ZICTA has provided.
Okay.
We've said, let us also, speak through the regulator. If we are able to engage ZICTA, and ZICTA as a regulator is able to, engage the telcos on our behalf, we will see a lot of, response. So what has happened is we are now leveraging these important forums. Imagine we have a technical working group where all these key stakeholders, including telcos, are sitting, okay? Then we are leveraging these to bring issues so that at the end of the day, even the regulator is hearing. So because with ZICTA, the power and authority they have, they can issue directives, they can really push the telcos to, act on some of these issues. Especially, this is why we are even glad that we now have a consumer protection forum that has been established so that we're able to engage. Because these are some of the issues that now we also bring out in the public to say, look, there are these gaps. There is need for you to address these issues in this manner, in this manner, so that at the end of the day, we have the necessary support, we have the necessary collaboration, so that we drive, expansion of financial inclusion. If you look at what has currently been happening in our country, mobile money has been the driver of expansion of financial inclusion. Unfortunately, like we've already highlighted, the investment in as far as supporting agents has been a bit weak. We haven't really you know, we've kept that channel of communication directly with the telcos open. They now have the GSMA Zambia as an association, bringing them together. So we are hoping that we'll have a listening here, so that at the end of the day, some of these issues that require collaborative effort in as far as resolving them, we come together and resolve them.
Right. What are your any expectations?
Yeah, so we are hoping that with the regulator, of course, ZICTA, the Bank of Zambia, stepping up, I think they have really been helpful in as far as hearing our cries is concerned. So we are hoping that we need to see more and more is done. But I think for other challenges such as power issue, network quality, I think our appeal is to ZICTA that they really need to, you know, push the providers in as far as making the necessary investments in this is concerned. Because we believe it's not just the power issue, you know, we know where this is coming from. Of course, we are aware and improve the network quality.
Mr. Pamfred Hasweeka there, who is the Mobile Money Association president, joining us this morning as they speak into how load shedding has been affecting their line of